learn is something you can benefit from, you know?
Yep,
So,
100%.
but
I'm a big proponent of it, and I know like for me, um, getting trained with, getting to train with Bo Douglas up here, who was a former
mm,
Killer Kowalski student, is so much
mm,
fun. And then I'm also, working with NRG out of New Bedford,
oh, nice.
Massachusetts. Yeah, so I'm working with Mike Rassa, and it's so
Mm,
much fun, like getting to learn from all these guys because there's just different styles of learning, but all these guys all still fall under the Killer Kowalski tree, so still
yeah.
kind of learning like from them. So
Hmm.
it's cool, man. It's a lot of fun, and then also I still drop back down into Maryland and go train with Ruckus and Siggins.
Yeah.
So I was like, I get to kind of learn from two different trees, which is so much fun to also be
Oh
able to blend
yeah.
together.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, especially you.
But
I mean, what are we talking about? Like you're learning from the dudes who are literally at the Harvard and Yale of like professional wrestling, and then
yeah,
like you're also at like 3LW with Ricardo.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting mix of training because
yeah,
down there you got to learn like the TV style, learning under Breeze and Spears, and now like Jesus has kind of got that TV style mixed in with like lucha, and it's just like learning all these different kind of styles is so cool because there's so many ways to wrestle. But
yeah.
so
I'll
yeah,
be honest. I kind of prefer the TV style where like I'm looking for like
100%.
I'm not trying to look for the cameras, but I kind of know where
Mm-hmm.
they are already. So I'm just like, all right, I can sell this to this
100%.
and sell that to that. It's funny
But
because like I remember I was working at an event in Philly, and Isaiah Wolf was like talking to me,
mm,
and he was like, "Listen," he's like, "You do a great job at playing to this crowd, but this
mm-hmm.
crowd's already paid their money. They kind of already know
Yeah.
you're here. Look here at the camera
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
play to the audience." And I remember like starting to do that and like started like locating where everything was at. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna hit this move here, and then we're gonna do
Yeah.
this, and then I'm gonna talk trash. And one time, I remember I was wrestling abs at this place called Focus Pro Wrestling, and
Oh
I
yeah.
picked him up. I hit him with a body slam. I sat him up, and I looked at the camera. I was like, "Yo, smile for the people at home." And he like put on like a face, and I like kicked him. Uh,
Yeah.
but I was like, "Yo, this is cool." So yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
like that. What about you? What's your style?
I love the TV style. You got to find those cameras and the photographers. Because, like, really, you got to find that stuff to go take those clips and those photos and promote yourself online. So, I mean, the wrestling's cool, but, you know, if you want to
Yeah,
make it to the next level,
you gotta find it.
for
I,
sure.
I feel like,
But,
and that's the thing too. When you look at someone like, we'll talk about it. You look for like a
yeah.
WWE. They don't look.
Hmm.
They know they don't look for. They can look for wrestlers all day.
Yeah.
They're looking for
Hmm.
people who can find those cameras and find those angles,
For
know
sure.
how to play to not just the audience in the crowd, but the audience at home as well. And I think that's such an important factor because
Yeah.
that's how you drive more people to want to see you.
For sure. And I think one thing I learned that's really stuck with me is people love the characters. Like the moves are cool, but really like nobody loves wrestling more than actual wrestlers. So like I think we get caught up in the bubble sometimes of like we got to like learn all these different wrestling moves and everything. But really like the crowd just wants to connect with you. So I'm big on the character work now.
Yeah, and I think when I look at and that's one part where I got to start even playing more into because I
Hmm.
do love doing like more character work. I think one of the things that I've like started to understand is like, all right, so even I watch like you watch a WWE, you watch a TNA, you watch
Hmm.
AEW. It doesn't matter what you watch,
Yeah.
right? Even New Japan,
Mm.
their guys will hit like four big moves maybe,
Yeah. Hmm.
and the rest of it is like punch, kick, chop, arm drag,
Yeah.
hip toss, and
Yeah.
really those are it. Just where they place them is what matters. And
For
I'm like,
sure.
that's all I want to do now. That's all I
Hmm. Yeah.
want. I don't care. I don't care that you can do. You're gonna hit me with like this 450 splash into this like you
Yeah.
hit me with a 450 splash, pick me up and hit me with a Falcon Arrow. No, no, no. You're just gonna hit me with a
Yeah.
Falcon Arrow or a
Yeah.
450 splash, one or the other.
And
You
also, like, there's longevity in it too. Like, the more you can save your body, the longer you can work, the more you can work, more money you can make. So,
facts,
but
facts.
we're playing the long game here.
Playing
But
along. Plus, listen, man, I gotta go to work tomorrow. I'm
Yeah.
really not trying. I'm
Yo, no,
really
I
not
feel you.
trying to go to work looking like like I'm a even though I'm a decade away from being 50, I'm really not trying to look like I'm 50, walking around
Right.
like all hunched over, like, oh my god,
Yeah.
can't move. Like I'm
Yeah.
not trying to do all that. Like,
I mean, one day I'd like to have kids, and I'd like to be able to throw the baseball with them in the backyard, you know? But I don't want to be hunched over at 50 and not being able to walk. But
yeah. Listen, at
so
50 years old, I still want to be doing a 1.5 dive into the water. Like, I don't.
there you go.
I want to
Yeah.
look. I want people to be like, "Yo, that guy's 50 and he's doing that."
Yeah.
Like, I want to be that
Like that
guy.
Ricky Morton level stuff when he
Yeah,
busts out a Canadian randomly.
yeah. Just
But
randomly buzz out a Canadian destroyer for no reason. hundred
yeah.
percent. That's what I want to be. And then just
Yeah.
like and you kind of hit on it, so I want to talk more about it. But character
Hmm.
work is so important because,
Hmm.
like you said, you're gonna know moves, sure,
Yeah.
but like ultimately, like the character side of things is what's really gonna matter. What can you do to make yourself different from everybody else, and what
Hmm.
makes your character different? So I'm curious, like who is Too Nice Trey Parker, and what makes him different from everybody else?
He's the nicest professional wrestler. He's every grandma's favorite wrestler. And he's every father's handpicked man to be their son-in-law.
I like it. How did you develop that? Like, how'd you put that all together?
That was actually something down at Flatbacks. I remember we were doing it was either back elbow or clothesline drills, but I was so light with everything, and Spears just was like, "You're too nice with everything." He's like, "You gotta lay it in a little bit," and I was just like, we were sitting at watching Dynamite just at back of the one at the house, and the one guy was like, "Yeah, you're too nice," and I was like, "Yes, I am." And we just kind of played into that character a little bit, and here we are now.
I like it. I like
So
it because like I it's funny how you develop like your character side of things and you think about like the world of how you want to build it up, right? So for
yeah.
like no the so like you use your personal life, right? Like
Hmm.
you're too nice with this. Don't lay it in a little bit. And for like Red Dog, it was literally just the Air Force thing. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I'm Air Force veteran, and the reason even for Red Dog was just because
Hmm.
I was being bullied, and I
Yeah.
wanted to include as much as I could like of what makes me me into the
Hmm.
character that I put together, and
Hmm.
I think that's where like that's what makes it interesting because you're genuine to who you are,
Hmm.
and I know you offline as well as
Hmm.
online.
Yeah.
And you're right, like you are. I mean, you're the same. You're the same person. Like
Yeah.
it's rare to see. It's rare for me to see you ever get upset, and you're just
Uh,
like, yeah, you're always just mild mannered, but you're super polite, super nice to like everybody.
I try to be, but I think that's what makes like characters like if you have something that's easy to tap into, then it just makes your job 10 times easier. Because I think a lot of people when they get into wrestling, they try to like be a character that's just not them at all. So like they're trying to figure out how to wrestle and play a character that's not them, and it's just there's too much going on.
Yeah,
But
I had that problem. It was funny. I had that problem actually with Sicken.
mhm,
Because when he first talked to me, he was like, "Yeah, you got to be like a military guy. Be very,
mhm.
stoic and very like, you get frustrated." What's up? It is your friendly neighborhood Red Dog, and thank you for checking out this episode of the Three Count Podcast. Whether that was Chaz friends, Red Dog friends, Damien friends, the Film Styles, now into the ring, now entering 201, or now returning to the ring, all those good episodes. You should really be liking, commenting, and even sharing this with your friends, family, whoever it may be. But what you all should be doing is checking us out on all of our social media platforms at 3 Count Pod, whether that's on IG, Twitch, you can check us out on Threads, whatever it may be. And if you go check us out on X, it is 3count_pod. Check us out on YouTube, as well as Facebook, on Rumble, on Apple Music, on Spotify, all those fun things. Tell your mom about us, your dad about us, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, and your best friends and your enemies, because we love haters too. Do all that stuff, and then, last but not least, buy our merch on foryourwear.com or prowrestlingtees.com. Kawaii!